Hi guys, and welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be talking specifically about guilds and Impetus, which I have been a member of since 2009. Um, Hopefully some of you can relate to it. The reason I wanted to do a piece about guilds in general is because there seem to be a lot of the hardcore guilds kind of falling off or just don't want to do it again. We had Serenity disband just over a week ago. But Legion isn't all bad for guilds, and we'll go through that a bit. I'll touch on the hardcore world first guilds a little bit first, without going into why or how or if, but more just to see the other end of the spectrum, so you have something to compare it to. As you all know, flex rating has become a thing. If you go normal and heroic, you can fluctuate everything between 10 and 30 people. The balance isn't always fantastic raid-wise, but regarding specifically Gul'dan, in terms of soaking the bonds, it got a bit better in the end. It will never be perfect, but that's how it is. Anyway, guilds in general. Legion was more or less a complete hell for World First Guild, and that has a lot to do with how the World First scene has evolved over the years. Back in vanilla TBC into somewhat Wrath, the whole split rating thing and having tons of different characters wasn't that evident. It's become more and more of the case. So for Legion specifically, I know that Method and Serenity, as examples, required you to have 6 characters who were geared and caught up with a certain amount of artifact power. I don't remember the exact threshold for Emerald Nightmare or for Trial of Valor, and I don't know how much concordance we're talking about. I think it's rumored around 15, but that's not really the point. Add on top the legendary system, the whole work, because it becomes a workload when you have to take 6 characters that has to go through the AP grind. They have to gear, and you have the RNG legendary system. That being said, the gearing part is somewhat okay, because of how the Mythic Plus thing works, and I will touch that a bit on the other end of the spectrum as well, in terms of how my guild works right now. But the AP grind is absolutely insane, and the legendary system is kind of retarded. Sko, as an example, had 2 warriors, and he got his 2 best in slot legendaries on his second warrior, not his main warrior that he's always played for ages. And so in terms of that, that's fine, but he still needed to have a tank of each class, and then he has 2 warriors. I don't know what his 6th character is, but there you have it. So for a World First Guild, this expansion has been a complete shit show. I don't think any World First raid or any top 20 or even was in a part of the World First race probably dreams and have nightmares about Maw of Souls. They changed it so that you don't get that much, like running 3 chest Maw of Souls between 7 and 9 keys are not that prevalent anymore. You kind of want to run the other ones too, but I'm pretty sure if you ask any for World First Raider who either raided in Exorcist or Method or Serenity or any of the top 10, 20 guilds, I'm pretty sure they absolutely despise, hate, have nightmares about Maw of Souls right now. But that is that end of the spectrum. For hardcore World First guilds, this expansion is pretty bad. On the opposite side, you have guild like the one I'm part of. My guild is Impetus. It's currently on Mag 30. It started out on Deathwing and is we're on the guild itself is on its 12th year, has had the same guildmaster the entire time, more or less, with a few days where we had some birthday presents where people get to hold the guild title for a little while, or the guildmaster left for a few weeks or whatever. But the guild is 12 years old. I've been part of it since late July 2009. I transferred my characters over in August, and I've basically been the raid leader since then. Started out in the rehash version of Naxxramas in Wrath of the Lich King. Went through Ulduar, ICC, and all that jazz. I took a break raiding-wise, or the guild in general took a break raiding-wise after Firelands, due to some real-life stuff. But other than that, we've more or less been active the entire time. So yeah, we're on my third and been here for years now. We came over in Mists of Pandaria halfway through, and then stayed here since then. But the thing is, Impetus has always been a guild that recruits more the person behind the character and not the character itself. It's like, we always wanted to raid, so we tried to push out, but we've only gone to an upper echelon. Like, the goal for Legion is to get the head of the curve for every raid, and that is fine, considering most of us are, the average age is well over 30. We have kids and all that kind of stuff, so even though it's possible to run Mythic and everything, people aren't really motivated to do it, so that is fine. So that's where we're at right now. But back to my point, we always recruit people, and in earlier expansions, especially before flex trading, this was kind of frustrating, because we always technically had a 15-man roster, and right now in Legion we are, like, our group goes from 10 to 15 people, and it fluctuates up and down. During Progress, we were lucky enough to have about 13 people through more or less the entire Progress of Nighthold. So that made it a little easier. Running 10 people right now is, at least during Progress, before the difficulty scale properly, wasn't very good. But it's okay. So the flex trading helped a lot. The other thing that helped is the Mythic Plus system. And the reason why I say that is because in a guild like Impetus, we have a complete, like, roster of people with different skill level, right? So we can have people who log in every now and then just to complete their emissaries. If they get gear, they get gear. They don't run that many. And then we have the other echelon, which is basically 6 of us. We started out with 7 and tried to rotate during Mythic Plus, but it gives us an extra thing to push ourselves. We can push keys. So if we want to have that difficulty, we can do 5-man contact. That's actually challenging, and we're not being... it's kind of difficult to say held back, because they're not holding us back in that regard, but we don't have to recruit a bunch of people just to have enough to do a 25-man raid like you needed to do in TBC in Wrath of the Lich King, as an example. If you want to take a step, it was 10 or 25 and that's it. So flex trading helped with that. I have people in my group, especially in the Mythic Plus dungeon groups that we run, that could easily be part of the higher end Mythic Progress. They're ranking obscenely high. They're putting out numbers. Our paladin healer, for example, Artemis, is ranking high all the time. His healing output is insane, and considering he doesn't run out of mana most of the time, like, I guess it's part of the paladin class as well. But he's ridiculously good, and he can easily progress pretty far into Mythic and easily get the cutting edge achievement if he wanted to, but he wants to play with us, right? So for him specifically, And for other people in my group, we also have a demon hunter who's doing ridiculous DPS. You can give him more or less any DPS class ever, and he will perform really, really high. We also have other people who have been forced to cut their gaming time over the years, who are technically good enough to run mythic content, but don't have time anymore. So it's easier to be in a guild like Impetus, where they it's basically a bunch of friends hanging together and going through all kinds of different shit. And we're stuck around. Since I went in, we more or less had the same core group the entire time, with one or two people jumping in and out. But the actual core of players has more or less stayed the same for 7 years right now. And I don't think we will break up anything. There's no one to seek greener pastures on the other side. If they want to push themselves, they can run Mythic Plus. If they want to go fully hardcore and grind out all the artifact power on all their weapon and get and fill out concordance, then they can do that too. Like, Legion gives you a sense of, like, you progress every single day. You can always progress on something if you want to, and you can more or less set your own difficulty bars, which is pretty good for a friends and family guild like Impetus. And I know there are several others out there who can hopefully relate to that. So yeah, I think Legion is a brilliant place for the majority of guild. Technically, we can discuss the content and how terrible Broken Shore is when compared to Nighthold as an Suramar as an example with the Nightfall and Incursion. So I guess there's not like content in that say, but even so, we can still decide what kind of difficulty of content we can actually do. Apart from raids, of course. And on top of that, the flex trading, as I said, helps a lot, because it means that if you have other obligation or you feel burnt out, you don't screw over your raid group. Like, we can still raid if one or two people are gone. So we're not like dead in the water, and if we want to raid them as one person, the pre-made group system has been amazing. So yeah, that's how I said it's like, basically to summarize, the Legion expansion is shit for the really, really top end, and for everybody that's not part of the top 5%, it's pretty good. It's in a good place. You can set your own pace, you can set your own difficulty, and you can be part of a guild or a community where skill disparity doesn't necessarily matter as much as it's done in previous expansions. So I hope that this is a system that stays, that it's worked upon, that it's improved, instead of them dropping it altogether. As always, if you liked the video and would like to see more, please hit that subscribe button, leave a comment below if you have any thoughts, and I will see you guys next time.